Good afternoon, everyone. Yan. Konting audio check lang tayo. Can you hear me clearly? Can you type one in the chat if naririnig niyo ako ng malinaw? Yeah. Thank you, Dennis, Kevin. And then, another question, can you see my slides clearly? Walang ibang naka-flash or nakaharap sa screen. Can you type 2 if you can see my screen clearly? Para dire-diretso tayo. Ayan. Thank you, Tony, Dennis, and thank you for participating. Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So I promised everyone na we will start on time. So alas dos, we will start na. And I'm also recording this webinar so that if meron tayong ma-miss out na certain parts or if meron ibang kahabol or we'll have to hop out in the middle of the session, I will give you the recording. Para may pwede tayong balikan. So, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for spending your holiday with me. Welcome to Thrive Founder Launch Live. And today, we will be talking about a question na maraming founders or business owners, nagsisimulang business owners, ito yung lagi nating tanong. Pag magre-register ba ako, ano ba yung pipiliin ko? Magsusole prop ba ako? Mag-OPC. OPC means one-person corporation or a regular corporation. Alin ba doon yung dapat mo? And if pumunta kayo dito sa session na to, hoping na I will simply tell you alin yung pinaka-best or alin yung pinaka-maganda na option na piliin, I'm going to challenge that idea because para sa akin, there's no single structure na automatically best for every founder. The better question na kailangan natin itanong is, ano ba yung business structure that makes sense for the business that you are building? So, yun yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong hapon na to. So, before I start, I just want to ask and to understand yung profile ng mga people na nandito ngayon sa live natin. Sino sa inyo dito who meron ng existing business? Type 1 if you already have an existing business. Or probably nag-join ka dito kasi you are planning to start a business. Kung ikaw naman yung magsisimula pa lang ng business, please type. Okay? Type 1 if you already have a business. Type 2 if magsisimula ka pa lang ng business mo. Para si Dennis, 2. Okay, dalawa na yung 2. So marami sa atin, magsisimula pa lang. Si Tony, meron na mag-start. Okay, thank you. Thank you for participating. But before we get into the 3 structures na pag-uusapan natin, let me quickly introduce myself. So, screen. Okay, yeah. Okay, ayan. Nahuhuli siya. Okay, anyway. So, before we start, I just have like a few reminders. So, this session, I don't want this to feel like more of a webinar. Na upo lang kayo makikinig. I want this to be like a working session. So, if you have questions, you feel free to type them in the chat. Para ma-address natin siya at the end of the session. But as we go through the different decisions na pag-uusapan natin ngayong hapon, I want you to actually think about your own business. So kung meron ka na existing business, think about your own business. Or if magsisimula ka pa lang, think about dun sa pinaplano mong itayo na business. And you don't have to take everything naman down word for word. Kasi ibibigay ko rin yung recording sa inyo. But at the end of the session, what matters is that you will have a clearer idea nung ano ba yung dapat na iniisip natin or pinag-desisyonan natin before we even register our businesses. Kasi sa Pilipinas, kung mahirap magsimula ng business, mas mahirap mag-close ng business sa Pilipinas. Kaya it's very important na dun sa decision natin, clear na tayo. And dahil marami sa inyo are meeting me for the first time, let me give you a very quick version of sino ba sino ba ako to discuss, no, sa inyo, no. So if you haven't met me before, I'm Cathy Castor. So you can call me Cathy. Ako yung nag-email sa inyo, no, nag-recommend sa inyo about this webinar. So I am a certified public accountant, and I am the founder and CEO of Tribe Global CFO. So at Tribe, we work with founders, business owners, no, like you, growing businesses with their financial and operational foundation. So things like finance, accounting, tax, no, business systems, and strategic decision making help businesses with that. No, and one thing na natutunan ko working with people, with founders, is that marami sa mga problema natin actually start earlier than people think. Sometimes, nagsisimula sila dun sa decisions pa lang na hindi natin nagawa, no, when the business was first being set up. No? Kaya yun yung gusto kong i-address sa conversation natin ngayon. No? And that's what our company is about, yung Tribe. No? So sa Tribe, we simply don't just register a business or keep your books updated. We want to help founders, business owners like you na ma-build yung business behind the business, no? Because we believe na yung isang business, hindi lang siya about getting sales, no? It's about systems, it's about financial clarity, and it's about making good decisions, no? And it needs foundation that can support where you're trying to go. So, in that foundation, nagsisimula siya, no, sa isang pundasyon, no, which is your business structure. Kaya mahalaga yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong hapon. And here's where I want us all to start, no? Ngayon, ito yung gusto kong patandaan nyo, no? Huwag ka muna mag-register agad-agad, no? Kung nandun ka na sa point na you wanted to register your business, don't register your business yet. Not until you've made a few important decisions. So, yun yung 7 decision na dadaanan natin ngayong hapon. No? You came dito sa webinar na to na thinking, okay, gusto ko malaman ano ba yung kailangan ko to register. No? Pero I'm telling you, don't rush into registration just because you feel like kailangan mo na siyang gawin. No? But before you file anything, before you submit anything to any government agency in the Philippines, there are a few decisions na kailangan mo nang sagutin or pagdesisyonan, no? Because if you don't make those decisions intentionally, no, you can easily end up choosing a structure simply because sabi nila yun daw pinakamura, or sabi nila yun daw pinakamadali, or maybe somebody recommended that business structure. So, we want your business registration itself na maging isang malaking decision before you jump into it. Okay? And okay, so may mga humabol sa ano natin, sa session. Thank you for joining. Yan. Okay. Ngayon, I want you to think about this way. No? I want you to think about registration as the execution. No? Before ka mag-register, kailangan may decision ka muna gawin. No? The decision comes first. No? Hindi ka lang basta-basta mag-fill out ng forms. Kunyari, fill out ng forms sa BIR, sa SEC, or sa LGU. Hindi lang siya basta about the forms. You are deciding what kind of business that you are creating. No? Sinong magmamay-ari ng business mo, how you want it to operate, and where you want it to go. No? So, even before ka mag-fill out ng any forms, yun yung mga decision na kailangan alam mo before you even register. So, the paperwork comes after the decisions. So, instead of asking na, paano ba ako magre-register? Ang itanong muna natin sa sarili natin is, what exactly am I registered? No? And yun yung tanong na i-unpack natin today. So, because, di ba, business structure, kung pumili ka ng sole prop, mag-OPC ako, or magko-corporation ako, hindi lang siya label. No? Hindi lang siya label ng isang business. It becomes part of the foundation of the business that you are building. So ngayon, ang gagawin natin this afternoon is we're going to work backwards. So instead of starting with the question na, Cathy, ano ba yung mga registration requirements? Bigyan mo ako ng checklist. No? The checklist, you can find it, i-google mo, di ba? Makikita mo yung mga checklist out there. Pero we will try to answer the most important questions before you get to that, no? Yung, what am I building? Ano ba yung gusto kong itayo? And then we'll work our way toward the structure. Okay ba yun? Sige, can you type 1 if okay yon, and if ready na tayo to jump into the session. Ayan. May batang yan, sumisilip sa tabi ko. Ayan. Okay. Thank you everyone. Ngayon, ano ba yung promise ko? No? So, this session, anong we practice this session, it's about 1 hour. No? So, depende na lang siguro kung marami tayong questions at the end. Pero, my goal is to make this session 1 hour, no? Para hindi na ako kumain ng maraming oras natin. No? But by the end of this session, I don't necessarily want everyone to choose the same structure. Yung pinili nung kasama ko is solver, solver. No? What I want for you is to have a clearer way of thinking through the decision. So, whether ikaw ay isang freelancer ngayon, or agency owner ka, you're a professional, a consultant, maybe yung iba sa inyo online seller, no? Or maybe others are building something much bigger. No? You can look at your own situation and say, now I understand what I need to consider. No? Now, let's start by finding out where everyone is right now. No? So, una muna, I want to ask you, no, yung mga nagsumagot kanina ng 2, no, na magtatayo pa lang ng business nila, or maybe yung mga meron ng existing business, alin dito sa 4 na business structures, yung kinoconsider, no? A, sole proprietorship, B, OPC, no, or one-person corporation, C, corporation, or D, you don't have an idea. I just want to know, meron ba dito, meron ng somehow in your mind an idea of ano ba yung gusto kong itayo? Si Lance, letter C, regular corporation. Tony, letter C din. Okay? How about the others? Si Joy, B, so OPC. Okay? DRC, B, okay. Thank you everyone. No? So, ngayon, let's talk about why so many founders get this decision wrong. No? So, ito yung typically nakikita namin nung firm namin. So, typically, a founder, a business owner will say na, gusto ko mag-register ng business ko. And then, yung conversation, it immediately becomes, mag-register ba ako ng sole prop, PC, or corporation? Magkano ba yung gagastusin ko? Diba? Ano ba yung mga requirements na kailangan ko? All of those questions are important. Pero we typically skip a step, no? We haven't even defined what we're building yet. And that's a problem, no? Because when we skip that step, we start making decisions based on shortcuts. No? And usually, kapag may shortcuts, no, nagkakamali. Or minsan may regrets tayo. No? So these are some of the questions that founders naturally ask, di ba? So, sa mga nakakausap namin na business owners, no, na magpaparegister, lagi nilang tanong, alin ba yung pinakamura to register? No? Minsan naman, ano yung pinakamadali? Typically, ito yung tanong kapag, kunyari, nagpamadali na sila mag-register because either may naghahanap ng resibo or, alam mo yun, may hinahabol silang kontrato or deal or project. No? Or yung iba naman, ano bang ginamit ng kaibigan ko na business structure, gagayahin ko na lang. No? And finally, ano ba yung ginagawa ng iba pang tao or iba pang business owners in my industry? So, gagayahin na lang. No? And there's nothing wrong with caring about cost or simplicity. Okay lang yun. Diba? As a business owners, lagi tayong iniisip natin, yung pinakasulit, diba? Doon tayo. Those things matter. But they should not be the only things driving our decision when it comes to business registration. Because kadalasan, yung cheapest structure piliin natin today might not be the best fit for the business that you are trying to build. Pwede ngayon, okay, mag-sole prop ako, pero eventually, ang goal mo pala is malaki talaga yung business. Diba? So, maybe in that scenario ng business, hindi na fit yung sole prop na pinili natin just because cheapest siya. No? So, ngayon, I want us to replace those shortcuts with 3 better questions. Right? 3 better questions. Una, no, I want to remind you na your friend's business is not your business. Your competitors' goals are not your goals, no? And the structure na nag-work perfectly for them or for someone else may not make sense for you. So instead of copying someone else's answer, let's build your own answer. Let's build your own decision pagdating sa registration. And I have here 3 simple questions na I want you to take down, no? Para pagtapos itong session na to, you ask yourself para when you decide, alam mo yung sagot, no? So, the 3 important questions, no, that are going to sit underneath almost everything that we will discuss today is ito, no? Number 1, no, what am I building? Ano ba yung tinatayo kong business? Number 2, who am I building it with? Sino yung mga kasama ko na mag-build ng business? Okay? And number 3, where do I want it to go? Gaano kalayo, gaano kataas yung goal ko for this business na itatayo ko? No? So we will unpack each of these questions today. No? And in between, malilayer natin yung practical differences na depende sa mga sagot natin sa tanong na to, ano ba yung tingin natin na mas fit na piliin natin? Sole prop ba? Mag-OPC ba ako or mag-regular corporation? Okay? And actually, these questions, ito rin yung thinking behind something that we created at Thrive. No? I think nakita niyo to when you sign up. No? So, the blueprint. No? So, we have the blueprint, the Thrive Philippine Business Blueprint. So, this is not a course. This is a collection of tools that a business owner can use to help you decide and work your way through business registration. So yung mga tanong na ano ba yung structure that makes sense, magkano yung gagastusin ko, ano yung i-prepare ko, depende sa napili kong business structure, ano yung mistakes that I have to avoid during business registration, and what do I do next? Tipong pag-register na ako, what will happen next? No? Anong gagawin ko sa compliance? The blueprint can help you. So mamaya, I'll tell you more about the blueprint. No? But for now, we will discuss the first decision that we have to make. No? And the first decision number 1 is, what are you actually building? No? Ano ba yung gusto mong itayo na business? So, ang tinatanong ko dito is not about what you're calling your business, or what your friend is building. What are you building? No? Because kung ikaw ay solo na freelance practice at yung kaibigan mo meron siyang agency or a BPO business, no? Posibleng in your perspective, sa perspective yung dalawa, pareho na mga business yun. Tama, di ba? Yung maliit na sari-sari store sa labas versus yung malaking grocery store sa bayan. Pareho naman silang business, di ba? Pero they have different needs, they have different sizes, they cater to different market. So that's why it's very important na sa'yo, very clear, ano ba yung tinatayo mo? Na nakuha natin, can you type 1 if nakukuha natin yung question na what are you actually building? No? Kasi until hindi malinaw sa'yo yung ano ba yung size. Kasi ito, bigyan ko kayo ng example. So we have a lot of clients na kami yung nag-incorporate ng mga agency nila, digital marketing agency. Tapos, may iba sa kanila na tipong they imagine the business to be very big when in fact sa simula, maliit lang talaga yung kaya ng capabilities nila. No? So, minsan, we have to even parang warn or bigyan ng caution yung iba naming nakakausap na they think of the business as very big agad-agad, no? When in fact yung capabilities nila hindi pa nandun sa stage na yun. So the problem with being yung gano'n agad yung naiisip natin, no, when in fact hindi sila prepared to even do that is baka mapasubo sila, alam mo yun, not just sa cost but also dun sa responsibilities of being a big business. No, that's why it's very important na ikaw mismo sa sarili mo, because this is a business na ikaw yung magtatayo. It's very clear to you, ano ba yung klase ng business na gusto kong itayo. No? Ngayon, I want to show you 3 different founders, no? Later pala, no? Pero I want to give you this scenario muna na may isang founder, pwedeng ang gusto niya ng isang business na simple lang, kumikita, tapos solo lang siya. Wala siyang ibang kasama, alam mo yun, walang ibang magdedesisyon para sa kanya. Meron namang ibang business owners na gusto nila mag-build talaga ng malaking team. No? Itong hundreds, thousands of employees. No? May ibang business naman na mas gusto nila humatak ng mga partners or mag-invite ng mga investors to their business. No? Yung iba naman, nagtatayo sila ng business with the aim na eventually down the line, na, no, parang a few years from now, itatayo nila yung business na yun for the sole purpose of selling. Ibenta nila yung business nila to people. No? So, they are building the business as an asset to be sold. Ngayon, napansin natin, di ba, those scenarios, iba-iba siya. Iba-iba siya ng destination. Pero pare-pareho naman silang business. Pero magkakaiba yung purpose, bakit pinayo ng business owner yung business na yun. Kuha natin. So naturally, no, we should not expect one structure to automatically fit everyone. Diba? So another example, no, let's say merong founder A. No? Founder A is a freelancer. She's working alone. No, she's selling her expertise and maybe gusto niya ng business na magbibigay sa kanya ng flexibility at good income. So, founder B naman is running an agency. No? So, meron siyang team in place, meron siyang multiple clients, and she wants to keep hiring. Kasi alam niya na para lumaki yung business niya, kailangan nilang kumuha ng maraming clients, and to cater to those clients, kailangan nilang mag-hire ng more people. Okay? Founder C naman is building something, no? Is building a business with partners. May mga kasama siya. And potentially, nag-aim sila na magpapasok, mag-invite, o mag-attract ng investors pa in the future kasi gusto nila is mas lumaki talaga yung business sooner. Ngayon, napansin natin, di ba? Itong tatlong founders na to, lahat naman sila ay nagbi-business, di ba? Lahat ng ginagawa nila is called business. Pero they are completely in three different situations. So, if I simply tell each of them na mag-register ka ng ganito, di ba? That would be very irresponsible kasi posibleng iba-iba sila ng kailangan na business structure. Okay? And the structure na pipiliin natin should always respond to the business, not the other way around. Okay? So I hope that's clear. No? Now, so our first big principle today is your structure should fit your business. No, not your friend's business, not the business na you think you should have. No, the business you're actually building. And that means also na we need to be honest about where the business is right now. Okay? Ngayon, before you choose a structure, I want you to look honestly at where your business is at today. No? Unang tanong is, do you already have customers? No? May mga customers ba tayo? Like, especially yung mga nakapag-start na, no, or nandun sa testing phase ng business na may mga customers na tayo and hindi pa tayo nag-register. So, ito yung una natin itanong. Meron na ba tayong customers? No? Pangalawa, are we generating consistent revenue? Pangatlo, do we have a business model na naiintindihan natin? So, anong ibig sabihin sa a business model that we understand? Kasi may mga namimit akong business owners na gusto nila mag-business pero hindi klaro sa isip nila how will they make money out of the business. Diba? Like, ano yung mga paths towards revenue, towards monetization dun sa business nila. No? Typically, nangyayari to kapag yung mga business na or startups na they create an app pero they have the product pero hindi clear sa kanila paano nila ibebenta yung app na to or paano nila pagkakakitaan yung product na ginawa nila. So yun yung ibig sabihin dun sa do you have a business model that you understand? No? Kasi kung meron kang produkto pero hindi mo alam kung paano siya ibenta, you don't have a business in the first place. Diba? So, you should have a business model na naiintindihan mo paano kumikita ng pera. No? And then, next is, are you building something that already has momentum? Alam mong mag-grow, alam mong lilipat. No? Or are you still testing the idea? No? So, hindi ko sinasabi na kailangan may ma-hit ka na certain revenue amount of sales no before you can register. Kasi nung nakaraang webinar namin 2 weeks ago, di ba? Parang may nagtanong sa akin doon na, Kati, anong revenue ba yung kailangan ko ma-hit before I say na kailangan ako mag-register? Actually, wala namang magic number, no? But, syempre, kung alam mo sa sarili mo na yung product or yung business na ginagawa mo is nasa testing phase pa. No, alam mo kung yung revenue nyo is something that you can do consistently o natsambahan nyo lang. Kuha natin. No? So, we're not talking about a certain exact revenue number, no, or a threshold, but yung consistency, yung and predictability ng revenue na kaya natin produce. No? Kasi, so, ilagay ko sa example, no? So, kunyari, merong nagbebenta garage sale, mga pinaglumaan nilang gamit sa bahay. Ang tanong niya sa akin is, kailangan ko ba i-register yun? Ang tanong ko is, yun bang pagbebenta mo through your garage sale, is it something na gagawin mo siya paulit-ulit? Actually, hindi. Diba? Parang nagbebenta lang siya kasi kailangan niya mag-declutter. So, pero kung ang sagot mo sa akin is, yes, gagawin ko siya consistently, di ba? Tipong magbebenta ako ng mga second-hand items, etc., etc., then that's a different one. That's already a business. Okay, so the intention is very important, no? When we're talking about registration sa business. Okay? So, kuha ba natin? Can you type 2 if nakuha natin yung mga questions na to na where is your business today? So, you can also take a screenshot para, ayan, mababalikan natin. So, and some related dito sa question na to, sa decision na to is, yun nga, nabanggit ko kanina, inside the blueprint, no, if you have access to the blueprint, meron tayo doon na business readiness assessment. So, it's a set of assessment questions that it can help you assess, no, and look at your situation. Kung is it the right time for you to do business registration o hindi pa, no? So, okay. Now that we have established yung context, no, na ano ba yung tinatayo ko and nasaan na bang stage ng business ako ngayon, let's look at the 3 structures na. Okay? So, and we're going to make this very practical, no? I'm not going to spend the next 30 minutes na babasa sa inyo ng legal definitions kasi you can search the legal definitions on Google, di ba? I mean, there's a lot of resources na out there. But ang gusto kong gawin natin today is I want you to understand yung differences ng tatlong structure sa perspective ng isang business owner. Okay? Ilalagay natin siya sa perspective mo as a business owner para ma-differentiate mo sila. And on your own, you can decide ano ba yung para fit na business structure para sa'yo. Okay? And then, we will use yung mga decision questions na dinidiscuss natin to figure out alin ba doon yung pipiliin natin. Okay, so let's start with the simplest structure muna. Okay. The sole proprietors. No? So, kanina nagtanong ako kung meron bang interested sole pro. Parang wala, no? Pero, I will still discuss this, no? For purposes of educating, no? So, a sole proprietorship is a business individually owned. So, ibig sabihin, isang tao ang may-ari. Okay? Yung may-ari ng business, the owner, owns and controls the business directly. No? So, lahat ng desisyon, pagdating sa business, si sole proprietor ang gagawa ng desisyon. And lahat ng kita or lahat ng lugi ng business, siya ang magbe-bear. Okay? Walang iba. So, this business structure, it's often attractive, no? Kasi it's relatively straightforward. Okay, marami kayong makikitang business owners na, okay, pag magtatayo ng business, ang unang nilang naisip is magsusole prop ako. Kasi very straightforward siya, di ba? Madali siyang i-establish, no? Madali siyang i-DIY actually. And to operate kumpara sa magtatayo ka ng korporasyon. Okay? So, for someone building a straightforward solo business, yung simplicity na yan can be very valuable. No? So, ngayon, anong important thing na I want you to realize kapag nagtayo ka ng sole prop? A sole proprietorship is not a separate corporation from you or not a separate entity from you. So, ano ibig ko sabihin? So, ako, kunyari, I'm Cathy Castro. No, I'm Cathy. Nagtayo ako ng, sabihin natin, maliit na food business. Tapos nagtayo ako ng sole prop. Ngayon, yung sole prop na business na yon and si Cathy, walang distinction. No? Ano ibig sabihin? Sa mata ni BIR, no, yung pag-aari ni food business ko na sole prop and yung pag-aari ko as a person, as Cathy, as a person, is one and the same. Buwan nyo? So, let's say, sabi natin yung business ko na yon for a few years, okay siya, tapos down the line, siya, and maraming utang sa creditors and all. And sabi natin mababankrupt siya. It's possible na pwedeng habulin yung assets ko as a person, as Cathy, no? Para ibang bayad dun sa mga pagkakautang ng business ko. So, parang siguro ang question nyo, bakit gano'n? Di ba unfair? It's because sole proprietorship is designed like that. No? The owner, which is ako, and my business, which is a sole proprietorship, wala siyang distinction. Iisa lang siya. In fact, kapag nag-register kayo ng sole proprietorship, mapapansin nyo na yung PIN or tax identification number na ina-assign ni BIR dun sa sole proprietorship business mo is the same PIN mo as a person, as an individual. So, it's one and the same. So, I hope it's clear, no? So, a sole proprietorship is not a separate corporation or entity from you. So, another example. So, ano ibig sabihin ba nun, Cathy? Paano kung kunyari, marami akong tinatayong business? Tipong, okay, nagtayo ako ng food business. Tapos, magtatayo din ako ng salon, for example. So, si sole prop, ni-register ko as, si food business, ni-register ko as sole prop. And then si salon, ni-register ko din siya as sole prop. Ang question, Cathy, yun bang salon ko is different from the food business? Technically, it's different from the line of business. Pero, in terms of BIR, in terms of taxation, lahat yon iisang team. Lahat yon kay Cathy. That's why, kapag nag-file din kayo ng taxes, so today kasi hindi natin i-discuss yung taxes sa next webinar, on September 4th. Pero what will happen sa taxes is you have to consolidate the income from the food business na sole prop, the salon na sole prop. And kung meron pa akong other income as category, so let's say freelance pa ako or meron akong employment, I have to consolidate everything. Bakit, Cathy? Hindi ba unfair yon? Iba-ibang business. Hindi siya unfair because sole proprietorship silang lahat. So, ang point ko is, if you are the type of business owner na, kasi may mga kilala akong business owners na gano'n, yung malikot ang isip na parang gusto nila na nagtatayo ng kung ano-anong business. Tapos parang ang thinking kasi nila, tatayo ko ng iba-ibang business para I can earn from multiple sources. Tapos, alam mo yun, I can diversify ang yaman. Pero, they fail to realize na even if iba-iba yun ang line of business, in terms of taxation, you have to consolidate it. No? So, bakit ko siya sinasabi? Kasi maybe may iba sa inyo na ganun yung path. Tipong maraming gustong itayong business. Pero kung ang goal mo pala is to diversify and to protect each one and also to protect your own assets, no, as a person, maybe kailangan mo pag-isipan kung magtatayo ka ng sole prop. Okay? Okay? Malinaw? Can you type 5 if nakuha natin yung um, important distinction? Ayan ang sole prop. Ayan. Okay. Okay. So, si sole prop, no? Dahil single siya, so sole ownership, direct control. When you register sole proprietorship, ang path na pagdadaanan natin is first, you will have to go to DTI. No? DTI muna, and then you will register with the BIR. Okay? And then the LG. So, kapag sole prop, kay DTI tayo magsisimula. May nagtanong sa akin before, Cathy, enough na ba na DTI lang? Wala na akong BIR and LG. Actually, hindi ka considered na registered kung hindi siya kompleto. No? Kasi kung DTI lang ang kinuha mo lang is the business name. Pero it does not mean that you are registered. So, yung tatlong agencies na yun yung kailangan mong pagdaanan. DTI, BIR, and then LG. Ngayon, kung magkakaroon ka ng mga employees, no, kailangan mag-register ka din as an employer, no, sa SSS, PhilHealth, and PAGIG. Kuha? Sige. I think kuha. Lahat naman nag-type ng 5, no? So, para kanino ba si Solpro? So, si Solpro, it may make sense, no? For a business owner na intentionally nag-build ka ng solo lang na business. Tipong ayaw mo ng mga partners, ayaw mo ng mga kasosyo, ayaw mo ng investors. Gusto mo, ikaw lang nagdedesisyon, ikaw lang mangangapital, no, para sa business mo, ikaw lang magpapanago. Maybe you are a freelancer, maybe you are a consultant. No? May mga kilala ka na freelancer or consultant na nag-shift sila into building a sole prop business kasi malaki yung client base nila. Maybe you are a professional or a small business owner, no? So you want to own the business, you want to operate it on your own, no? At hindi ka nangangarap or nag-aasam na someday you will get, alam mo yun, investors, outside capital, no? So, yun yung mga people na fit yung profile na to. Okay? Now, I want us to take a look at what changes na when you want a corporate entity. Pero gusto mo, ikaw pa rin yung sole owner. Okay? So, I'll now move to the next business structure. No? So, the next business structure is an OPC or a one-person corporation. So, meron ba dito familiar na sa OPC? Can you type 2? Kasi medyo hindi lahat ng business owners alam na meron na palang ganito sa Pilipinas. Okay, merong idea, no, about OPC. So OPC, no, it's a one-person corporation. So kumbaga parang sa US, di ba may tinatawag na LLC or Limited Liability Company. So I think around 2018, 2019 lang nagkaroon ng ganito sa Pilipinas, no. So ang gist ng OPC is that solo ka pa rin, no? Ikaw pa rin ang nag-iisang may-ari, no, ng business. Pero ayaw mo nung risk na meron sa sole prop, which is yung asset mo as a person pwedeng habulin, di ba? So, kaya nagkaroon ng one-person corporation. Solo ka pa din na may-ari, pero korporasyon ang galaw ng business mo. Nasundan natin, solo ka, solo founder, pero the way you operate your business, it's like a corporation. So, yun yung difference ni OPC kay sole prop, no? So, ano ibig sabihin nun? So, it means na, yung sinabi natin kanina, no, yung example ko, let's say ako, nagtayo ako ng food business, tapos ginawa kong OPC si food business. So, that means yung kinita or kinalugi, kung ano man yung turnout ng business ko sa food business, itatax yun dun lang sa food business. Kung ano man yung kinikita ko as Cathy, as a person, hiwala yun. Yung mga assets ko as a person, so let's say ako, meron ako sasakyan, meron ako mga kabahayan, no? Sa akin yun. Tapos kung ano man yung asset ng OPC ko, no, kung food business ko, sabihin natin, meron siyang vehicle, meron siyang mga equipment, sa business yun. kita nyo, meron siyang distinction. Kasi si OPC, it's a separate entity of its own. Kaya naman, di ba, pag nag-register ka ng OPC, unlike a sole prop, sa BIR, a-assignan niya yan ng sarili niyang TIN, Taxpayer Identification Number. Iba yung TIN ni OPC, iba yung TIN ko as a person owning the OPC. Kuha natin. So, ibig sabihin, bilang si OPC, nag-operate siya like a corporation, it can enter into contracts, it can enter into agreements, it can own properties. Di ba? Yung OPC, it can own properties, it can get loans or, alam mo yun, capital of its own. Kasi hiwalay siya sa'yo. So, sundan ko ulit yung example ko kanina, no? So, let's say, nagtayo ako ng food business. OPC yung tinayo ko. Tapos, gusto ko magtayo ulit ng isa pang business, salon naman. Tapos, tinayo ko rin siya as an OPC. So, I now have two one-person corporation. Isang food business, isang salon. Ang question, pagdating sa tax, anong impact nun? Si food business, itatax siya on its own. Kung anong kinita, ano yung profit nung food business ko, sa kanya lang yun. Same with the salon. Hindi siya ipag-combine. So, na-imagine nyo, no? So, ibig sabihin kasi, di ba, kung meron kang mga multiple businesses, there might be some of your businesses na nagfa-fly, pero iba hindi. So, in this way, pwede mo siya mapag-iwa-hiwalay, no? Na hindi nila naapektuhan yung operations na bawat isa as well as the taxation. So, ginagawa to nung iba talaga na ino-optimize sila pagdating din sa tax. Pinag-ihiwa-hiwalay nila. Nakuha natin. So, that's OPC. No? Yun nga lang, di ba? Kung si sole prop, very simple structure siya, di ba? Kaya nga siya i-DIY eh. Nagsisimula siya sa DTI. Si one-person corporation, dahil corporation na siya, magsisimula yung registration natin sa SEC. Okay? SEC, and then BIR, and then LGU, kung saan tayo naka-base or naka-address. And if you have employees, no, you have to register SSS, PhilHealth, and so, dahil korporasyon na siya, no, we expect na mas may paperwork pagdating sa registration and even during compliance. Okay? Nasundan, can you type OPC if na-gets natin yung how OPC operates? Okay, thank you. Siguro before I move dun sa para kanino ba yung OPC, no? Idagdag ko lang na, di ba, as an OPC, ikaw lang yung may-ari. Di ba? 100% of the shares ng kumpanya, sa'yo. Di ba? Sa'yo nakapangalan. Pero, isa pang kagandahan ng OPC. So, may mga clients kasi kami before na naka-sole prop sila, nag-convert sila or nag-change sila into OPC. Lalo na nung na-realize nila na yung sole prop business nila, it's not something that they can pass on to their families. Kunyari, pag may nangyari sa kanila, di ba? So, hindi nila kayang ipamana ang sole prop. Kasi di ba ang sole prop, dahil nakatali siya sa identity ng may-ari, kapag na-dead si Cathy, yung sole prop niya, wala na din. Diba? Kasi the business, the sole prop, and the owner is one and the same. Kay OPC, it's not like that. No? Dahil sole owner ka, pero you operate like a corporation, during registration ng OPC, i-require ka ni SEC na mag-appoint ng dalawang nominee. No? So, anong purpose ng nominee? Ang purposes ng nominee is kapag dumating yung time na incapable ka na si owner kunyari, to run the business or may nangyari sa'yo, the business can still continue. What will happen is that pwedeng malipat yung ownership dun sa nominee na pinili. So na-imagine nyo, di ba? So, ibig sabihin, pwede mo ipamana, di ba? Or pwede mong ipasa yung ownership, ipa-continue yung business sa trusted people mo. So, case in point, some of our clients, di ba, na ang ginagawa nila is, okay, tatayo sila ng OPC, i-appoint nila as nominee either asawa nila, yung anak nila kung nasa legal age na, or any trusted person in their family or in their circle. Nakuha nyo? So, pwede siyang ipasa. Yun pa yung isa niyang difference kay sole proprietorship. Okay? Ngayon, sagutin natin yung tanong, para kanino ba best or fit si OPC? An OPC can be worth considering if you are a solo founder pero gusto mo mag-operate like a corporation. No? And you are ready with the responsibilities of of doing a corporate entity na business structure. No? Perhaps you are building a business na you expect to grow. No? Bakit ko sinabing you expect to grow? Ibig sabihin, alam mo na yung business na to, it can probably last. Kung pwede mo siyang pamana, i-continue sa iba. Pwede mo nga rin siya ibenta. Diba? Perhaps you want a more formal organizational structure. No? And so yun yung criteria or parang listahan ng who might this fit na mga people or business owners yung OPC natin. Okay? Ngayon, let's talk about the structure naman na naturally becomes more relevant kapag yung ownership is not just one person. So kanina nung nagtanong ako, marami first considering ng magtayo ng corporation or a regular corporation. No. A regular corporation, ito naman para siya sa mga businesses na merong multiple owners, multiple shareholders or investors. So, kunyari, 5 kayo, magkakasosyo kayo. So, if you will build the business, it's better that you build a corporation. No? May mga nakita kasi ako before na, kunyari, grupo sila, tatayo ng business, tapos ang ginagawa nila, sole prop. Tapos, ipapangalan nila yung business sa isang tao lang. That's very risky. That's very tricky. Kasi, what if, di ba? What if, down the line, hindi kayo magkasundo or something? Yung business, nakapangalan lang sa isang tao. No? So, it's very risky talaga. And marami na akong nakitang, alam mo yun, sad stories of businesses na nag-fail because gano'n. Ngayon, at the very start, kung alam mo na meron ka mga kasosyo, no, ang itayo na is corporation so that everyone will be protected at least. No? So if you are building with partners, it's immediately an important consideration. Kailangan may corporation so that you can determine ano yung ownership ng bawat isa. No? You will have like a bylaws when you register na to anong tawag dito, define kung paano mag-run yung corporation natin. No? And corporation, it's very relevant if you plan to have a business na mag-grow talaga ng malaking-malaki. No? So it does not mean naman na kailangan Makati levels ng mga Ayala or San Miguel. Hindi naman. Pero ang point lang natin is, if you see the business to be really growing, no, at talagang yung pwedeng may intention kayo na ibenta or magpapasok ng mga investors in the future, definitely ang kailangan yung i-register na business is a corporation kasi it's very flexible. Lalo na kung may mga ganun kayong growth plans in the future. Okay? So, yung structure na to, it's fit, no? If you have multiple founders, multiple business partners, or you're intentionally building a company na merong shared ownership. Hindi lang ikaw yung magdedesisyon, hindi lang ikaw yung makikinabang dun sa profits ng business. No? And if you want long-term ownership and growth plans, definitely corporation yung pipiliin natin. So ngayon, after looking at all three, naturally, ang iniisip natin, ano ba yung best or ano ba yung fit sa akin? Sole prop ba, OPC, corporation? And this is where I want to pause. No? Kasi maybe you're asking the wrong question. No? There's no universally best structure. Yung mga sinabi ko kanina, it's meant for you to, alam mo yun, self-select. Based dun sa business na gusto ko itayo, ano yung tingin ko mag-fit? No? Yung solo ka, then definitely dalawa na lang yung pagpipilian mo. Diba? Pero kung if you have multiple partners, definitely you will fall into the category of a corporation. No? So the right answer depends on your ownership. Pansin niyo yung mga diniscuss natin na characteristics ng tatlong business structure, no? Ano bang klaseng ownership yung meron ka? Ano ba yung goals that you have for the business? Ano yung itsura ng business na tinatayo mo? And what you are prepared to maintain? No? So yun yung better question to ask. So ngayon, siguro, before I continue dun sa next part of the session, I want to ask, based dun sa mga dinescribe ko dun sa tatlo, ano yung tingin yung business structure na fit sa gusto niyong itayo na business? Is it A, sole prop, B, OPC, or C, corporation? Can you share in the chat? Kasi kayo yung more or less nakakaalam na niyan based on what we discussed earlier. Ayan, si Phoebe, OPC. Si Dennis, OPC din. So, mga solo, solo businesses, no? Okay. Thank you for sharing, no? Ngayon, ang question, no, which one is your business? And to also help you further decide, no, bukod dun sa mga napag-usapan na natin kanina, marami pa tayong decision factors or lens na titignan, no, kung hindi pa rin tayo nakakapag-decide. Una is ownership, no? Ang tanong is, who owns the business? No? So, yung question na it sounds obvious, di ba? Kasi, okay, kung solo ka lang, alam mo na ikaw ang owner of business. Pero ang tanong is, are you the only owner? No? Pangalawa, are you building with someone else? Meron ka bang kasosyo? Meron bang tumutulong sa'yo to help build the business? Or, ito, marami akong kilalang ganito. Are you bringing in family members into the business? Kung, sosyo si uncle, si tito, si ganyan. So, are you bringing family into the business? Number 4, do you expect partners? Pwedeng ngayon solo ka lang, pero down the line, na-imagine mo, kukuha ka ng mga partners. So, you also have to think about that, no? Or could investors eventually become part of the picture? Diba? Ngayon, pwedeng ikaw yun ang kapital. Pero alam mo, sabihin natin, 3 to 5 years from now, para mapalago mo, mapalaki mo pa yung business mo, ma-expand mo siya, kakailanganin mo ng investors to inject capital into the business. Kung yun ang goal mo, na forcing mo na itsura ng business mo, definitely ngayon pa lang, corporation ka. Para ready na yung structure mo. No? So yung mga questions na yun, those are not small details. They can influence the structure na pipiliin mo. Okay? So ngayon, tignan natin siya in this spectrum. No? This ownership spectrum. Maybe today, ikaw lang. No? Ikaw lang mag-isa na nag-run or nagtayo ng business. Maybe kasama mo yung spouse mo or yung family mo. No? Involved sila. Maybe down the line, you will already have a business partner. Or maybe you're planning to bring in other owners in the future. Maybe may plano ka na magpasok na investors or mag-fundraising. No? Kumuha ng capital from the outside. No? So, ang goal naman natin dito is not to predict the future perfectly. No? But at least somehow, alam ko, ikaw sa business owner, alam mo na yung direction na gustong puntahan ng business mo. Kasi I know people na alam nila sa sarili nila na ayaw nila ng investors. Gusto nila sariling kapital lang. Meron namang iba na talaga ang vision nila is malaki ng business and they will need other people's money to make the business grow. No? So, yun yung kailangan nating pag-isipan. Ngayon, you don't need to build a billion peso company. So, just because nag-register ka ng corporation. Hindi naman yun yung point ko. So, what I'm saying is that if you already know na yung business na tatayo mo will involve other people, partners, investors, wag mong, don't ignore that just because ngayon mag-isa ka. So, kanya, alam mo, 3 to 5 years from now, gusto mong kumuha ng investors. So, may mga nakikita kong gano'n na, yun pala yung goal nila, pero nag-register sila ng sole prop. Diba? What happens is that, kung dumating na sila sa point na kukuha ng investors, kailangan nilang mag-register ulit ng bago. And papatayin nila yung sole prop na tinayo nila nung una. So, kumbaga, yung hassle, yung gastos, paulit-ulit. No? Now, so I hope that's clear, no? So don't choose today's structure without thinking about ano ba yung itsura ng ownership ng business mo tomorrow. Okay? And that's another decision na we deliberately answer using the blueprint. No? So we help you think through the decisions that come before you register. Ngayon, pag-usapan natin yung another decision, no, na kailangan mong isipin. It's about separation. No? Ang question dito is, how much separation or distinction do you want between you and the business? No? Gaano ka-separate or ka-distinct yung gusto mo na mangyari between you and the business, no? And ang pinupunto ko dito lalo is the sole proprietorship, no? Because sinabi ko kanina, kapag nagtayo ka ng sole proprietorship, you have to understand that you and the business are closely connected. Actually, you're one and the same. No? So even if magtayo ka ng multiple sole proprietorships, kahit iba-iba pa sila ng business or industry, iba-iba ng line of business, the mere fact that they are all sole proprietorship, it's all tied to you. No? The income is reported under you. And if something happens to you, all your businesses also die. Diba? Ganun siya ka-distinctly close sa sarili ko. On the other hand naman, kapag nagtayo tayo ng corporation, so it's either an OPC or a regular corporation, you're dealing with a separate corporate entity. Hiwalay siya sa'yo. Okay? So, understanding that distinction matters. Okay? Ngayon, so let's visualize that, no? So, the first picture, no, sole proprietorship, the founder and the business is the same. Diba? Walang pinagkaiba. Corporate entity, the founder and the business entity, magkahiwalay sila. Si corporation, it can have its own contracts, behavior, compliance, no, guarantees or actual business practices na hiwalay doon sa personality ng people or ng tao na nagmamay-ari ng corporation. So it's a very important distinction na kailangan alam mo before you even try to register. Okay? Now, which brings me to something na kailangan natin matandaan. No? I'm not saying na kapag nagtayo ka ng corporation, it's a magic shield. No? Kasi may mga naririnig akong advice na ganito na, magtayo ka ng corporation para alam mo yun, hiwala yung, yung assets mo, ganyan. Pero usually kasi, pag alam mong may illegal kang gustong gawin, parang ganun yung naiisip mo agad, di ba? Pero, I'm saying that a corporate structure, it does not mean na magically you're, shielded from anything. Di ba? Pero syempre, your contracts matter. No? Your compliance matters. How you operate the business still matters. No? Hindi porket distinct si corporation from you is gagawa na ng illegal yung business nyo. Diba? Kasi walay naman eh. Pero, diba, kaya nga tayo may tinatawag na SEC. May oversight pa din. No? So, I'm just putting the disclaimer na hindi porket nag-corporation ka, is talagang magic shield na hindi nila pwedeng pakalabanan ang personal mo. No? Pwede siyang mabutas yung shield na yan kapag in the first place, meron ka talagang illegal na ginagawa. So I hope that's clear. Can you type 5 sa chat if it's clear? And I have to make that disclaimer kasi may nagtanong din sa akin yan before. Ayan. Thank you. Now, let's move to the next decision, no? And I want us to zoom out and think about the future, no? The future. So decision number 4, no? Decision number 4 is, where do you want this business to go? Saan mo siya gustong dalhin? No? So this is one of my favorite questions to ask kasi sometimes yung business na tinatayo mo today, no, is very different from the business that you want 5 years from now. No? And that's okay. no? Ang important lang na sinasabi ko ngayon is, even today, no, alam mo kung saan yung direksyon na gustong puntahan ng business mo. No? So ano ba ibig ko sabihin? Maybe ngayon, okay, solo ka. No? Ito, siguro I will give myself as an example. When back in 2020, nung panahon ng pandemic, solo lang din naman talaga ako. No? So I was doing freelance work, ganyan. And then, when dumami yung clients, na-realize ko, okay, kailangan ko mag-build ng team to help me out. No? And then, nung nagkaroon na ng team and nadagdagan na yung clients, and I realized na parang yung bandwidth ko to build the business, mas kailangan ko ng tulong from other people. Nagpapasok ako ng partners sa business. So when I started from solo, then na-realize ko I need help. Nagpapasok ako ng partners. So eventually, we built a corporation. No? So kumbaga, nung solo ako, alam ko sa sarili ko na gusto kong dumami yung clients. So that's why I was very open that time na to the idea na eventually magkakaroon ako ng other people who will help me in the business. So hindi ako nag-register ng OPC. No? Ang niregister ko is a corporation to let other people na come in. No? And then maybe in the future, no, you want to also have other people or larger companies or investors to come invest with you. So that's also an option. Pero kung ang sinasabi ko dito is, ngayon pa lang, try to imagine, ano ba yung route na gusto mong puntahan? Not necessarily na yun talaga yung dadaanan mo. Pero ngayon pa lang, nai-imagine mo yung ano ba yung actions that you will have to take for you to get there. Kasi kung alam mo, ngayon pa lang na open ka sa idea na other people will help you out, no, will probably give you, ganyan, capital, etc., help sa business, then ngayon pa lang, kung tayo ka na ng regular corporation. Diba? Pero kung ikaw, kasi may mga kilala ko na ayaw talaga nila ng may ibang tao sa business. Kung ikaw yung tao na yon, alam mo na you don't want other people to be, alam mo yon, helping you manage mag-decision sa business, then you pick either sole prop or an OPC. Okay? So, the principle that I want you to remember is you build for the business that you are becoming. No, hindi yung ano ba yung nakikita mo lang ngayon. Think 3 to 5 years from now. So, di ba sabi ko kanina, bakit kailangan mag-isip ka ng 3 to 5 years from now? Kasi sa Pilipinas, di ba, kung mahirap mag-register, mas mahirap mag-close ng business. Siguro yung mga nakapagtayo na ng business dito before, alam niyo yung sinasabi ko na mahirap mag-register sa Pilipinas, diba? Kasi maraming red tape, maraming, alam mo yun, ang daming inefficiencies ng government agencies natin. How much more when you try to close a business? So what I'm saying is that if alam mo na down the line na ito yung pupuntahan mo, might as well na mag-register ka accordingly para hindi ka papalit-palit ng registration. No? Kasi meron kami mga naging clients na gano'n na tipong nag-sole prop, tapos nag-sole prop, then after a year, nagpalit na naman, nag-register ng bago simply because nagbago na naman yung system. So, imagine the cost, the hassle, no, the time na in-spend mo to do the paperwork, to register pila, alam mo yun, with all the government agencies. So, what we're trying to do here is to save that hassle, that waste of time. No? So, kailangan pag-isipan na natin. Our goal is alignment. No? Alignment. Ngayon, so this is another place where, yun nga, the blueprint becomes very useful. So, in the blueprint, we help you answer yung question na how do we register? And also, how do we plan for things that we have to do after the registration? Kasi ito rin yung isa naming napansin with clients na minsan naisip nila, okay, pag nag-register na ako, okay na yun. And they fail to realize na when you get registered, your responsibilities as a taxpayer also starts. No? We plan for the cost of registration, but we fail to plan for the cost of staying registered. Ano yung what should happen after registration? There's accounting, there's taxes, there's renewals, etc. So, Yun din yung isa naming dinidiscuss dun sa blueprint. No? Ngayon, we'll now go to the fifth decision. No? So decision number 5 na tayo. And this decision is often nakakalimutan or nai-ignore. No? Decision 5 is, what can you actually handle? Ano yung kaya mong i-handle? No? Because sometimes founders choose a structure based entirely on how it looks. Tipong, pag nag-corporation ako, it sounds professional or it sounds more sophisticated. But then they forget na sa bawat structure, meron siyang kanyang-kanyang responsibilities, iba-ibang compliance. So ang kailangan mo itanong is not just, can I register this? But itanong mo sa sarili mo, can I properly maintain this kind of structure? So for example, kapag nagtayo ka kasi ng corporation, you have compliances related to SEC. No? Meron kang compliances na related sa BIR, meron kang compliance na related sa LGU. No? I-renew mo yung business permit mo taon-taon. So you have to be ready. You have to be prepared to properly maintain yung registration ng meron ka. Because registration is only the beginning. Yun lang yung simula. Diba? Once you register, the business does not become done. Kung tapos na. Diba? It's only the start. Diba? When you register, you have accounting, you have tax compliance, you have bookkeeping, ano pa ba, government requirements. Kung may mga empleyado ka, you also have to comply with government agencies. So, depending din sa business mo, kailangan mo ng mga permits. Mga nire-review tayo na permits every year. And the bigger and the more formal the business becomes, the more important your systems become as well. So, when you choose a structure, you don't just look at magkano yung gagastusin ko sa registration. Ano may registration fee? You also think about the ongoing responsibilities. No? So that's why the next principle is very important. So don't choose a structure you are not prepared to maintain. No? So your structure may look impressive on paper, pero kung hindi mo naman siya kayang i-maintain, diba? Pili ka ng mas simple, no? Or hindi ka prepared to get help for the maintenance, diba? Pili ka ng mas simple. No? So, ang point na natin is, I don't want you to look at registration as a one-time. No? It's actually the start of everything. No? Na kailangan mong paghandaan. Okay. So now that we have looked at the 5 decisions, so I hope na-capture yun, 5 decision yung pinag-usapan natin, no? Let's put everything together, no? Let's put everything together. We've covered a lot, no? So, ito yung lahat ng pinag-usapan natin. So, here's the high-level picture. So, you can take a screenshot if kailangan. So, a sole proprietorship is individually owned. And it does not care about separate corporate entity. No? An OPC naman has one owner, pero it operates as a corporate entity. A corporation designed naman siya for multiple owners. Okay? And as you move toward formal corporate structures, we have to understand, makikita niyo dito sa table na as we progress from more corporate structure, mas dumadami yung general and administrative responsibilities natin. No? So, ngayon, what I want you to take from this slide is, anong combination fits yung business ko, my ownership, yung goals ko, and what I'm prepared to maintain. No? So, kumbaga, you have to make a decision out of all those 5 questions. No? Ano ba yung gusto kong ownership? Ano yung itsura ng business ko? Ano yung goals ko? Ano ba yung prepared ako to maintain? Diba? Realistically. Okay? So ngayon, let's turn that into one simple framework that you can actually use. So before you register, ask these 5 questions. So you can take a screenshot nito. No? Number 1, what am I building? Number 2, sinong nagmamay-ari ng business? Sino yung gusto mong magmay-ari ng business? Number 3, how much separation or distinction do I need between myself and the business? No? Number 4, where do I want this business to go? And number 5, anong level of compliance, administration, and responsibilities yung I can realistically handle or am I prepared to handle? Okay? Ngayon, yun yung 5 question na before you register, try to answer. No? Para talagang alam mong ready ka na. Okay? Okay, may nabasa ko sa chat dito si Tony, need to drop off. Ay, hindi ko alam pa nakapag-drop off ka na, Tony. No? Pero, I'll be reaching out via email. So, you know our emails naman, di ba? Yung nagre-remind sa inyo about the webinar, you can reach out to that email. Yeah. Thank you, Tony. So, ngayon ko lang siya nabasa. Ngayon, now, I don't want you to walk away from this session, no? Thinking na there's one answer, no? Ang goal natin is not to choose the best structure. Ang goal natin is to find the structure that makes sense for your situation. Okay, nakuha natin. Ano ba yung nag-fit sa situation ko? No? And that brings us back to our original question. No? There's no universally right structure. Lahat ng structure na yon, iba-iba ng job, iba-iba ng purpose. No? For some people, best sa kanila yung sole prop. No? For some people, hindi yun mag-work. No? So you have to really assess based on the kind of business that you're building. No? So I hope you were able to capture yung 5 questions. I'll flash back the 5 questions ulit para for anyone na hindi pa nakapag-screenshot. Okay? Now, what should we do next? No? So ano ba yung next step natin? Maybe at this point, you probably fall into one of 3 groups. No? Maybe hindi ka pa sure. Even after this webinar, you're still unsure. That's okay. No? It just means na kailangan mo pang, anong tawag dito, pag-isipan ng malalim yung 5 questions. No? And also, I don't want you to rush into registration. No? Kasi mahirap mag-commit into a decision na hindi mo kayang mapanibayan. No? Maybe you already know what you want. No? And maybe you realize na maybe you don't want to do all of this yourself. No? In each of those situations, meron siyang next step. So, if you're still unsure, no, I want you to work through the decisions. No? I'll give you the recording, no, so that you can review this again. And then, para alam mo yung gagawin mo the next time. And also, maybe inject ko na din, no, we have another webinar on September 4. Kadugtong siya nitong session natin na to. That session is about taxation. No? Parang we will discuss yung differences naman in taxation kapag ang pinili mo ay sole prop versus pinili mo ay UPC. Kasi I think marami sa inyo dito, nandun kayo sa stage na you're kind of torn about, gusto ko ng simple, which is the sole prop. Pero maybe yung iba sa inyo, gusto niyo nung flexibility ng OPC. No? And in the next webinar, i-discuss kasi natin doon yun. Meron pa silang differences in terms of taxation. No? Like, mas saan ka ba makakatipid or mas saan ba optimize yung taxes mo? So, depende sa goals natin. So, maybe if that's you, I'm inviting you dun sa next webinar natin. I'll be sharing na lang siguro the link, no, sa email para you can also register to that. No? Kung ikaw yon, work through the decisions. No? And if ikaw naman, alam mo na yung gusto mong gawin, then you have to prepare for the registration or maybe get help in executing it. No? And yun nga, ang promise ko kanina, no, when I started, no, I will tell you about the blueprint, no, before we do the Q&A, no. So the Tribe Philippine Business Blueprint, no, it will give you a place to actually work through the decisions na kailangan mo during business registration. So it's a practical decision and planning system, no, for founders na gustong mag-register. So ang goal natin dito is we will help you structure yung questions, yung business readiness mo, ano yung cost na kailangan mong pagdaanan during registration, common mistakes, and the steps that you need to prepare. And let me quickly show you ano ba yung nasa loob nun. So inside the blueprint, no, there's assessments. No? Meron dong business structure assessment, business readiness assessment, a registration investment calculator, like literal calculator siya na it will compute for you depending on ano ba yung pinili mong structure, no? Founder checklist, planning guides, and a registration roadmap. So, yun yung simplest way for me to describe ano yung meron sa print na to. And for today, no, you can get it for only 450 pesos. And I think meron sa inyong iba dito na who already took the blueprint, no? Kasi may nakita akong links na familiar kanina. Ayan. But if you want to get the blueprint, nandito yung link yan sa screen. You just go to that link, no? And you can literally read everything about the blueprint and learn from there. No? So before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. No? Maybe may iba sa inyo na may questions pa. Siguro I'll be spending around 15 minutes answering your questions. Medyo nag-overtime lang tayo din sa promise ko na 1 hour. No? Pero I hope we got a lot of value from today's session, no? Siguro if you have questions, feel free to unmute or feel free to chat it in the chat para we can answer your questions. And you can reach me through this email din pala if you want. Okay, sige. Any questions so far? Meron bang mga nagtanong dito sa chat? Ayan, meron from PB. My question is, since an OPC also has a corporate structure, what are the differences in terms of its corporate requirements and documents compared to an ordinary corporation? Okay. For example, are there differences in the articles of incorporation, bylaws, blah, blah, blah. Okay, good question, Phoebe. Technically, halos pareho, pero una, so pareho silang may articles of incorporation. It's the same. Ang pinagkaiba, si OPC wala siyang bylaws. Si regular corporation, meron siyang bylaws. No? So bakit walang bylaws si OPC? Kasi ikaw lang naman mag-isa eh, di ba? I mean, wala kang ibang stockholders na kailangan kang makipag-agree. No? So wala siyang bylaws. Si OPC, meron siyang tinatawag na acceptance of nominees. No? Parang it's a paperwork na kailangang pirmahan ng nominee na pinili mo, ng dalawang nominee. Parang this paper, once they sign, it signifies na tinatanggap nila na in-appoint mo sila as your nominee. Okay? So yun pala, may nagtanong kasi sa amin before na client na, Kati, pwede bang magtatayo ako ng OPC, tapos gusto kong i-appoint na nominee yung, I think, hindi ko alam kung kamag-anak niya or kapatid niya. Pero ayaw daw niya ipaalam. Ayaw niya ipaalam sa kapatid niya na in-appoint niya yung kapatid niya as nominee ng business niya. So I don't know for whatever reason but ayaw niya ipaalam. Pero ang sagot kasi doon is hindi pwede. Kasi the nominee, meron siyang kailangang pirmahan doon sa paperwork during incorporation. So, kailangan alam ni nominee na ina-appoint ko siya and they have to sign the acceptance. No? Ano pang difference sa paperwork? Si OPC, meron siyang tinatawag na yung appointment of officers. So, it's a separate form in the SEC na kailangan mong isubmit na dinedesignate mo doon sino-sino yung officers ng OPC. No, ano yung counterpart doon sa regular corporation? Sa regular corporation, may tinatawag tayo na GIS na baga taon-taon mo siya kailangang nire-report at sinasubmit kay SEC. Sa OPC naman, yung appointment of officers, sinasubmit mo lang siya during incorporation and every single time na merong pagbabago sa officers. So, hindi siya tulad ng GIS na taon-taon papasa mo. So I hope that helps. Yun yung medyo differences nila in terms of the paperwork, no, and the compliance. May next question dito si E-Joy. Just a confirmation, sole prop na company can't be acquired by other companies for OPC and corporation. Yes, a sole prop cannot be acquired kasi it's ikaw yun, no? Pero kung OPC and corporation, pwede. Kasi it's a matter of transferring the shares. So medyo legal na siya. Legal na usapan na siya. Pero Yun, sa question mo, sole prop cannot be acquired. No. Next, from Will. So, OPC ba ma'am, may need po ba na bilang ng employee para pa-register sa SSS? Wala. No, as long as you have employees, you can register. So, we have clients no na naka-OPC sila na merong 1 or 2 employees, then register na rin sa SSS, PhilHealth, and yan. Sa Soul po, may minimum na employee for kahit si owner lang. Sa Soul din, walang ganon. Walang parang minimum number. So it's either you as the owner or kung meron kang mga employees. So wala siyang minimum or maximum numbers. I hope na-answer natin. Sige. Any other questions pa? We have about 5 minutes pa. Ayan, may humabol pa. So from Sir Dennis, given I plan to import inventory from both the US and Japan, which business structure is most efficient for securing import licenses and dealing with the Bureau of Customs? Okay. Sir Dennis, so actually, most ng nakikita namin na mga nag-i-import, naka-corporate structure sila. No, so, and also, I think, parang for you to be, anong tawag dito? Protected din, since you're dealing with importation, no, I suggest you either choose an OPC or a regular corporation. So, depende na lang kung may kasama ka or mag-isa ka dun sa business. Ayan. Humabol si Galactic Ana. So, if I work ko sa government, pero I plan to put up a small business, small prop, na hindi pa related sa work ko with government, how will the taxes be handled? Ito, magandang question to. So, if magtatayo ka, Ana, ng sole prop, no, tapos nag-work ka sa government, ang mangyayari is, you have to file income tax return na i-combine mo yung income from the sole prop and your salary from employment. So, ganun yung mangyayari sa kanya. Kasi nga, di ba sabi ko kanina, pag sole prop ang tinayo mo, you and the business are one and the same. So, kung may kinita yung business mo sa sole prop and then meron kang salary as an employee, you will have to combine them sa income tax. So, yun yung sagot sa question. From Ginger, can I use a different store name from my OPC name? I'm not sure sa store name, pero yes, Ginger. So, meron kaming client na yung OPC name nila, meron siyang doing business as. So, for example, sa amin, corporation kami, no, pero I mean, it works the same with OPC din, na kunyari sa amin, yung company namin is Thrive Global Business Advisors Inc. Yun yung full corporate name. Pero meron kaming doing business as Thrive Global CFO. So, yung mga social media pages namin, yung website namin, Thrive Global CFO yung nakapangalan. So, I think yung sa question mo, Ginger, no, parang it can work, no? We also have a client na they are parang yung binibenta nila. Para siyang sabi ng brand, pero nagbebenta sila ng mga home mga furniture sa bahay, no, mga sofa, ganyan. So, meron silang corporate name, tapos dahil meron din silang store sa online, no, and physical shops na iba-iba yung pangalan. Lahat yun naka-doing business as. So, diba, meron silang corporate name, tapos doing business as blank, 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 kasi marami silang store name. So, I think yun yung tinatanong mo, Ginger, no? So, definitely, you can use a different store name as long as naka-register siya under that OPC. I hope that's clear. No? E-Joy, mga gaano po katagal ang process na pag-register as OPC sa SS? Days or weeks? So, to give you an honest timeline, no? So, sa SEC pa lang, sa OPC, it can take you about 1 to 2 weeks. No? So, depende kasi siya sa completeness ng documents mo. And also, kung yung pinili mong pangalan ng business is wala kang kapangalan or walang, alam mo yun, walang violation yung name na pinili natin sa SEC. Pero the fastest that we had sa SEC is 1 week. No, as in kompleto lahat ng papers, lahat ng pipirma, nakapirma agad. It can be as fast as 1 week. OPC. From Anna, since I have a salary, iba pa po yung ITR na nire-receive po namin sa office. Yes, iba pa. So, yung nire-receive mo na ITR sa office nyo, kailangan mong mag-file pa ng separate na ITR na combining yung ITR mo from the office and then yung income mo from the sole prop. Ganun siya, Ana. So, yung binibigay na ITR sa office nyo, it's the 2316. Diba? Iko-combine mo siya kung magtatayo ka ng separate mo na sole prop. Okay? Follow-up question from Ginger. Do we have to register for the store name doing business under sa SEC, BAR, or DTI? Yes. Yes. And I have a feeling, Ginger, na baka yung, are you doing Shopee or TikTok, no? Diba, meron ng bagong regulation kay BAR na yung store name mo should be like registered, or naka-reflect siya sa 2303 natin kay BAR. So definitely, kung meron kang ilalagay na doing business as, then the store name, you have to really register it. Kasi baka maban ka or hindi ka ma-approve sa marketplace kung if you plan to sell sa Shopee, Lazada, or TikTok. Tapos si Will, pwede po bang mag-sole prop at the same time OFW din? Kasi madoble na bayad sa SSS ko kasi kasi ako din naging employee sa store ko. I think meron namang mga OFW na nagsusol. No? Meron naman. Yun nga lang, yung sa SSS, no, if kunyari nahuhulugan ka na ng SSS as na hindi pa sole prop, I think that's enough. No, you don't need to register again as an employee na separate na may SSS pa kung meron nang naghuhulog para sa SSS. Di ba kasi the way SSS works sa atin is you will only have one employer. So, kung may naghuhulog na sa'yo, hindi mo na kailangan gawin yan sa sole. I hope that helps. Medyo complicated, no? Pero ganun siya. Yeah, so I think we answered a lot of questions. So, and I'm happy na you're also participating and you're asking a lot of questions. So, I think we can wrap up now. And thank you everyone for spending your holiday with me. Siguro expect na lang yung sa email, no? I'll be sending you the link to the next webinar if you're interested kasi I think medyo inline din siya dito, no? But it's more about taxes. And then I'll also share some information about how you can probably help or get help from our firm, no? If you need help there. Thank you, everyone, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.